story. Penn State Frozen Four bound. They'll take on Boston University April 10th in St. Louis, one of the two national semis. Denver and Western Michigan battle in the other, with the winners meeting for the national championship 2 days later. And Penn State coach Guy Gadowsky joins us now. He is today's big interview. Coach, congratulations. What have the last few days been like for you?
Thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun. The guys obviously had a great time. That was a special moment for the program and for the team, and they've been enjoying it, but back to work today.
Well, take us back to Sunday, because I actually thought that that game kind of mirrored your season in some ways. You fell behind on two different occasions, but you rallied and then obviously won it dramatically there in overtime. The highlight is just, I mean, it gives you chills. Take me back to that moment. Take me back to the game-winning goal and everything that kind of you could remember going through your head and experiencing in the subsequent few minutes.
Sure, but that's actually a really good observation, that it was sort of a mirror of our season, because you're exactly right. Not only in the terms of we were down early, we hadn't won a game in our first 9 Big Ten games, and everybody left us for dead. So that was a similarity. And also the similarity for the whole season was the unbelievable support that we get. Specifically from our student section, but from the Penn Staters around. Everybody at Pagula Ice Arena has been so supportive of us. And really, I think we jumped on their back quite often times during the season to get us out of that hole, and that's exactly what we did in Allentown. The support was unbelievable. Our Roar Zone student section was just awesome, and I think we did jump on their backs a little bit. So that was a commonality as well. But to go back to the game winner, you're right. I think really it was the players that came to Penn State. Everybody knew what a great university it was, but I think there was a feeling that to jump in the Big Ten so quickly, we were just going to get killed for so long, and why would you want to do that? So the players that did come were guys that didn't mind that challenge, really tough people that had a great culture in mind, and that's what we thought of.
There's a ton to unpack there, and I want to get a little deeper into some of it. We'll get into the history of the program in a bit, but let's start with this year, because you were talking about it. But for people who haven't followed, I think it's important to note you were 0-8 your first 8 Big Ten games, as you said, winless in your first 9. Your last place in the league on January 1st. How do you keep your team in it mentally at that point? What did you do?
Yeah, so we were last place by a ton, and I don't think it's much of what the coaching staff did. I know for a fact a lot of it is what Carson Dick, Simon Mack, the leadership group of our team did. I think Carson absolutely refused to let anybody get negative, which was, I mean, he's a special leader for sure. So that happened as he was preaching to the team and absolutely not letting anybody get negative. During that time, our women's volleyball team won the national championship, and they went through an experience where they were down, 2 sets to nothing in the semifinals, and down at the time 20-16, and even dropped to 22-16, and everybody left them for dead. And I remember our players watched that, and they came back. They had a timeout. They came back and obviously won that match, and then won the national championship. And I remember them being just floored, like, how did they do that? Like, how intriguing was that? So they did a little research with the volleyball team, and then we got a chance to talk to Coach Katie, and it was just funny how the two mirrored, like Carson Dick's directive that, hey, we're going to refuse to get negative, and watching the volleyball team actually do it in real time was a real impactful thing to go through. I think that's what happened.
That's the mental part of it. What about physically? Like, what changed? How do you go from not winning games to winning games on the ice, aside from the mental part?
I think other than putting the game together, I think it was mental. So I think that we really had played some very, very good hockey games, and specifically on both sides of the park. Some games we were excellent offensively. Some games we were excellent defensively, but we didn't put it together. But we also had an experience during the season where our number 1 goalie got hurt. And we ended up putting in a guy who saved our season. His name's John Seifarth, and he came to Penn State not looking to play hockey. In fact, he never played junior hockey. The highest he played was high school hockey in Pennsylvania. but he's an incredible guy. He's actually a really, really good athlete. And he started playing goal for the club team. And he was a guy that was just such a good person, such a hard worker that our team, our guys wanted him on the team. So he's on the team. Well, he ended up coming in and playing in like 7 games, and he saved our season. And I think the guys really rallied around him and really sort of changed to be really tough defensively for John. And I think that carried on the rest of the way. So physically, that might have been the only change.
That's a pretty amazing story, and I think the journey of this program to a Frozen Four is an amazing story too, and you were alluding to it a little bit earlier. You oversaw the transition of this program into Division I and then subsequently into the Big Ten, so you are really the only coach at this level in the history of Penn State hockey, and you're a coaching lifer. I mean, going back to roller hockey in Oklahoma City, and Alaska Fairbanks and Princeton, and then here to Penn State. What does it mean to you to literally start at the ground floor with a program and to have elevated it to the heights that you have?
Oh, well, I mean, very grateful that I was invited to partake in that. And really, I was a very small part of it. It was Mr. Pagula, obviously, and the administration at the time. The whole university got behind it, and so did our alumni that were just awesome. So I was really just along for the ride in that process, but it was really fun, and I feel very grateful and blessed that I was invited to be a part of that. I learned a lot from the administration and people that worked so hard to get this going. I think the contribution that I was able to make was be around, sort of be lucky enough to invite the hockey players in that sort of shared that vision, that knew that, look, it's not going to be easy. We want guys that are going to accept that challenge and aren't going to be afraid of that challenge. And you know what? I mean, we got the response we had. There's a lot of people that said, boy, I love Penn State. I mean, Penn State is unbelievable. I'd love to play there. I just don't want to lose for 4 years. And we got that a lot. So to bring in the right people that accepted that challenge and wasn't afraid of it, I mean, that was an important part, and I think a fun part too.
How did your program change on Sunday?
Well, it remains to be seen. I think we're still going to be the hardworking, tough, competitive team that we've always been. I hope that never changes. I think possibly it's changed in a way that, hey, they did do it. Not just it looks like they can do it. They did do it. Yeah, but I guess it remains to be seen.
Well, as long as you're going to St. Louis, you might as well win the thing, guys. So Boston University first. Give us the scouting report.
Honestly, not yet. Every weekend this year, we've really tried to assess the weekend of play and learn everything we can from it. And so the first couple of days of practice are around that, and that's what we're focused on now. So no joke, we actually haven't looked at BU yet. We know they're great, obviously, but you go to the Frozen Four, there's going to be 4 excellent teams that are all hot. That's the way it goes. So that's no surprise. But honestly, right now, we're still trying to learn the lessons that we can from the weekend.
Got it. Well, enjoy that process. I hope you're enjoying the moment. It seems like you are, and your players are. But as you say, there's still some work to be done and an exciting potential here for possibly a national championship for Penn State hockey. This is a really cool story. Guy, congratulations, and thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time.
Thank you very much for having me.